China has set its sights firmly on Mars and is aiming to launch a mission to the red planet by 2020. The country's plans were given a boost yesterday after it recovered an experimental probe launched aboard a new generation rocket. Space Program authorities said the spaceship's landing on the vast Inner Mongolian steppe keeps China on schedule to place its second space station into orbit later this year. The launch of the spaceship aboard the newly developed Long March 7 rocket on Saturday was hailed as a breakthrough in the use of safer, more environmentally friendly fuels. The launch also marked the first use of the massive new Wenchang Satellite Launch Center on the southern island province of Hainan. Since launching its first manned mission in 2003, China has sent up an experimental space station, the Tiangong-1, staged a spacewalk and landed its Yuta rover on the moon. Its second space station, the Tiangong-2, is due to be slung into space in September. Following that, the Shenzhou 11 spaceship with 2 astronauts on board is scheduled to dock with the station and remain for several days. Administrators suggest a manned landing on the moon may also be in the program's future. A source of enormous national pride, China's military-backed space program plans a total of 20 space missions this year at a time when the US and other countries' programs are seeking new roles. China is also developing the Long March 5 heavier lift rocket needed to launch the Tiangong-2 and other massive payloads. China plans to launch a mission to land on Mars by 2020, attempting to recreate the success of the US Viking 1 mission that landed on the planet 4 decades ago. The secretive agency has changed tack in recent years, releasing more data and images to the world, and publicizing its successes. Earlier this year, a full set of images from the agency's lunar lander and rover, Chang'e 3 and U2 or Jade Rabbit were made publicly available, providing some of the most detailed images of the lunar surface ever to have been released. In April, Wu Weiren, the Chinese space agency's chief, admitted that the agency could have started its Mars mission earlier, instead of lagging behind the US, European and Indian agencies. Alluding to the stringent nature of national decision-making in China, he said finally the country has given its approval. "We will orbit Mars, land and deploy a rover, all in one mission," Mr. Wu confidently told the BBC. Current and future planned missions are showing there are clear benefits to be gained from collaborative efforts in space exploration. But while China may be seeking cooperative ventures, NASA will not work with the CNSA due to its military status. The U.S. Senate has frequently rejected calls for closer collaboration between the two agencies, with the 2011 agreement banning the U.S. Space Agency from engaging in bilateral agreements with the Chinese, with vocal opponents in the U.S. government referring to China as an evil empire. The European Space Agency has had limited collaborated with CNSA, working on a sun-focused satellite, called Double Star, which launched in 2001. And the Chinese have already collaborated with the Russian agency Roscosmos on a failed Martian moon probe, which failed to make it out of low Earth orbit. Commenting on the barriers ahead, Mr. Wu said, "We would like to cooperate with the U.S., especially for space and moon exploration. We would welcome this very much." He added, "We have urged the U.S. many times to get rid of restrictions, so scientists from both countries can work together on future exploration."